Greetings, all you villains out there. I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I'm finally back with another chapter review of My Hero Academia. This time it's chapter 234, titled Destroy Memories. Destroyed Memories. Destroyed Memories. And we open up where we left off with Reed Destro getting ready to basically just torture Tomura Shigaraki, crushing his hands. He's pretty much destroyed two of his fingers, and he seems like he feels that with the fact that Tomura can't touch him with all five fingers, he can easily just crush his fingers, just destroying them there, just to torture him, make him suffer for the most part. And as he does this, Tomura looks over to one of the hands that were blasted off of him. And those are the hands of his Hana, his little sisters. And we come to find out the various different hands that he's had on him belong to his older sister Hana, or was it little sister? I think it was older sister. His mom's hands, his grandma's hands, his grandpa's hands, as well as his dad's hands. And then we cut to All For One talking to Tomura about how negative emotions would sometimes be held by certain people. The card is, durable, but, negative emotions, fear, they can be healed with time, but they kind of burst forward, and those emotions never truly fade. Talking about the nature of, Tomura's life growing up, the hardships he had to endure, and especially Hana, who was his little sister, who was always, was it his little sister? Hana, his sister, who was always kind of there for him for the most part, always was, picked him up, and just cheered him up when he was feeling down from time to time. And while he always got stoned for wanting to be a hero, she said she wanted to be a bride just because it seemed simpler that way. And Tomura's head starts to kind of just shoot out. He just kind of starts to wig out and go through all these various different memories. The innocent words of a child. And as Reed Destro begins to completely crush Tomura Shigaraki's hand that's already pretty much mutilated at this point, Tomura grabs onto him with his two fingers. And as he thinks about his life, about everything that's gone through him all up until this moment, the emotions that dwell deep within him, he starts to crumble Reed Destro's fingers with his ability, with nothing but two fingers, creating a two-touch point of impact, much to the surprise of Reed Destro, as he's just like, wait, was our intel wrong? Did something happen? Was I given false information? On the other spectrum, Tomura is freaking out. He's basically kind of just zoned out. He's so lost in his own thoughts, he's just acting on instinct at this point. And he starts to remember, of all people, his mother, about how he has allergies and how he needs medicine for all the scratching that he does. But, Reed Destro is just like, wait, he's reminded of something. Sometimes people's superpowers start to rapidly grow out of control and just develop better. There's usually some kind of trigger that happens because of that. And he uses Apocrypha as a example, the dude who has ice abilities, and that happened because Reed Destro accidentally burned himself, and Apocrypha was able to, summon his ability to control temperature because of that. And he notes that because of that, because he's seen this before, he realizes Tomura is starting to kind of have an awakening of his own to the next level of his own powers, and just how far he can take his abilities. And his speed has drastically increased. He's starting to move in a more agile, erratic fashion almost. And because of that, with his physicality and the fact that now he's able to, with the way that he's able to exert his quirk, he starts to think like, wait, with all that we've studied, with all that we've seen, has he been training to be able to master what he should be able to do. But that would take a lot of stress and, being on the brink of death almost every single day, which is exactly what Tomura did with Gigantomachia. He put himself on the brink of death to draw out the fullest potential that he would possibly have. But he tells Tomura, look, I've honed my stress to a specific point, and just that's why I was able to survive what you were doing. But I can't judge you as simply beneath me as I've done before. He's been dismissing Tomura up until this point, just putting him down, but now he realizes, yeah, you're a little bit too much. You've taken a lot of damage, so you must definitely be the original. So he, Redestro pumps his ability up to 80%. He's just like, okay, yeah, enough games. And he sends out this massive shockwave of energy from his stress-powered body, because he's basically become a massive blackened behemoth at this point because of all the stress within him. He's starting to feel the stress of the situation of a powerful opponent who could possibly get the upper hand on him. So he sends out this massive shockwave. It gets more of the hands on Tomura, and he thinks back to his grandfather and his grandmother, who were always very kind to him, and all the spirits that they had together, these very kind moments. But Tomura's just like, that's not it. That's not just it. They were kind and caring, but there was more to it than that. And Tomura starts to remember everything, what he really feels, how he really feels about, his family and the world that was around him. And when Redestro takes a moment to answer a call from Skeptic is erratic. It's just like, oh, Redestro, please, you gotta be careful. It's headed straight to you. It was a monster. They were hiding it from us. It was lying in wait. And we see Gigantomachia right in front of Skeptic, wreaking havoc on the remains of the town, just destroying everything in its path, as Tomura continues to have his own personal awakening. This was a fun chapter, very interesting, and it's nice to see the continued development of Tomura's powers. It really does make you wonder just how far these powers are gonna go, because Tomura is slowly getting to broken status. If he makes it out of this, he will be a force to really be reckoned with. And it's just like, how do you stop that? Because, common tier heroes can barely take on the League of Villains at this point. But, if Tomura fully gains the kind of control that we're seeing right now, and with the genetic abilities that the Doctor has shown with what he can do, I don't think Tomura losing fingers will be a consistent problem. I'm not quite sure. Just how far does Tomura's field of ability range at this point? It's really starting to get up in the air, and you really gotta wonder, just how capable can he become in that flashback too. And Gigantomachia is finally here. He's ready to wreak havoc. We are in the end game now, and we're just gonna have to wait and see just how far this battle of the bosses truly goes. But hey, tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Tomura's continued development of his own quirk, and how he doesn't even need all 5 fingers? He went beyond touching, but now he could do it with like 2 fingers at least. Point of contact. He can go that far now. So even if he doesn't regain the 3 fingers he lost, what if he's still just able to do things with those 2 fingers? I mean, he still has, I think he's right-handed, but Gigantomachia is also here. How do you think the remainder of the Liberation Army will be able to handle such a beast at this point? Because Gigantomachia was already too much for the League of Villains, and but also the Meta Liberation Army have also been the ones to push the League of Villains as far as they've come, to the point where they're going beyond what they normally do. They're actually going plus ultra. So it really does bring a lot of questions as to how we're going to reach into this climax. There's no way Redestro lives through all of this, but it really does make me wonder how this ends, how Tomura Shigaraki takes this guy down. But tell me your thoughts and theories in the comment section below. If you liked this video, leave me a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave me a dislike and tell me what I did wrong in the comment section below. That way I can better myself for future videos. Subscribe and hit the bell icon. That way you never miss out on another chapter review of My Hero Academia. And if you want to find me on social media, just Google Duuz-Diz-Din. I'm everywhere, for better or for worse. And until the next video, just remember that sometimes it's our sense of destruction that must be put in check, because we all have that devil on our shoulder telling us to destroy. But how convincing is your angel in the end? I'm Duuz-Diz-Din, and I think it's time for bed. Bye-bye.